Today I want to show you how to make chiles rellenos. Now, maybe you're used to a typical chile relleno meal. This one has a little twist, and the reason I say has a little twist is it's kind of a nod to or a celebration of two different meals. And the reason I say that is because it's not a traditional just chile relleno, it also sort of incorporates a chile en ahogada. And why we do this sort of mixture in my family is super special to me and our family in general. When my parents got engaged, it was a big deal, and my uncle made this meal specifically for this engagement, for their party, and made this for all of our family. It's a staple, it's one of those highlights of our family. So I wanted to share that with you because it's personally very, very special to me, and I hope that you enjoy it. You'll see things like pomegranates, and you'll see things like a crema sauce with tomatillos, and you might think right away, what is she doing with this? What's happening? Why is this not traditional? Don't knock it till you try it. Trust me on this one. Come along with me. I will show you how to make it. And this is just a very special thank you to my family. Big meal reveal, I guess, and a big celebration of my family. So I hope that you enjoy it with your family. If there is someone out there that you appreciate a whole bunch, a family member, a friend, somebody really special, go out, get these ingredients, give it a try, share it with them, and just celebrate along as well. It's 2021, we're deep in a pandemic, why not celebrate with some beautiful food? So please don't feel intimidated with this recipe. I want to take you step by step through it and enjoy making it with you. So without further ado, let's grab a fork and let's eat. So to start us off with this recipe, we're going to use poblano peppers. I like to use poblano peppers because you're able to stuff these with cheese. When you're at the store and looking for your poblano peppers, try to find the type of peppers that are nice and vibrant, really a bright green color, and that they don't have too many wrinkles or tears or anything that might make it harder for this recipe. Now, something that's really important when you are roasting them or giving them some heat is that the pan that you use, I like to use a cast iron. If you've got one, definitely a good time to just pull that out and use it. So for me, when you're using your pan, in this case the cast iron, I make sure to heat up the pan beforehand and then add in these poblano peppers. They've already been washed, they've already been dried, and they're ready to kind of go on the fire in that sense. This will just really help with the toasting process. As you can tell, it will take a little while for them to roast. What you want to do in the meantime is get your blender ready, get a pot ready for water as you boil the tomatillo salsa. Just kind of set up your station, get your KitchenAid or your mixer ready. And every so often, take a look at your chiles, give them a turn or a twist, or just kind of make sure that one side isn't burning and that you have just an even, consistent heat. This will really help. You might hear a little bit of cracking or popping of the seeds. You see them move a little bit, and that's definitely a good sign. So now's a good time to get that all ready. You can give these poblanos a flip and I turn them over. They're just starting to get warm, so we're not gonna move them around too much after this. Just kind of let them get warm. Now at this point, I'm gonna get my tomatillo salsa ready by washing my tomatillos. You can take the husk off by just twisting and pulling. Pull the husk, twist, and pull. These are gonna go for a nice little rinse, a wash, and you can boil those along with your salsa ingredients. Now, as you can tell, a little bit of time has passed. Even though they're roasted, as you notice, some sides there are not quite roasted. What you do is put that side down, put a little bit of pressure with some fingers there, push down, and it should help to roast the poblano. You see now, I'm missing a little spot there, so I'm just gonna apply some pressure and push down. When your chile looks something like this, it's roasted on every single side. For the most part, it's evenly roasted. You can set that off to the side with the rest of them in a bowl, and you put a lid on for 20 minutes, and this will allow for some steam. About 20 or 30 minutes depending on your poblanos. While those are off to steam, I'm going to show you how to get some pomegranate seeds out. We're going to apply pressure to the bottom of this. You grab a container, and I'm wearing gloves because of this. The juice that comes out really stains, so I like to wear gloves and be really careful as I'm doing this. So get your bowl ready or a container. Put some pressure at the bottom and cut that in half. And now you can start de-seeding this pomegranate. Now that's all ready, those are off to the side. I am gonna get my salsa verde ready by chopping my onion. As you can tell at the bottom of the screen there, I've already boiled those tomatillos, the jalapeno, and the garlic, and set that off to the side. So all of these ingredients are gonna be ready to go in the blender. So I'm gonna blend that onion, the jalapeno, the tomatillos, and the garlic, and kind of all add that into the blender. I do have a video on how to make a really great salsa verde. I'll go ahead and just link that at the end of this video as well, in case you want some instructions on how to get the best flavors out of a salsa verde. But we're adding a crema to this, so this will be a little different. Very important to add a cube of chicken bouillon. Sometimes you have something like Better Than Bouillon. Anything that will help to add flavor to this is really gonna kick off the flavors. Some fresh cilantro. Add that into your blender. And we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of water. I'm gonna add about a cup or so of water. And she's off to blend. While that's blending, I'm going to show you how to make some Mexican crema. Here on Kauai, we have a hard time finding some of these ingredients, so you're going to take some sour cream, a few limes, give them a good roll, give some pressure on that lime to get the most juice out of it. And then once you do this, you're going to grab a fork and get all of that lime juice out and incorporate that with your sour cream. So once this is all incorporated, this will turn into more of that traditional Mexican crema that we're used to. This is a great way, if you're in a pinch on Kauai or anywhere else, to find or to make your own crema. So once we're happy with that consistency, we can add that into the blender with our salsa. And what we're also going to do is add one more of those cubes for the chicken bouillon powder. Again, this is really going to add to that flavor for our chiles. So blend that. We'll set that off to the side, and we're going to jump into skinning or peeling our poblanos. About 20 or 30 minutes have passed by. They're nice and steamed, so this really helps us to be able to peel off that skin. If you can, do this slowly and really gently as possible at least. You may run into a tear or two. It's not a big deal. I'm going to show you how to deal with that in just a bit here. So go ahead and do that with all of your poblanos. And now, if you're comfortable, you can take the top off of the poblano this way. As you see there, I have a really good grip of the top, and I'm just slowly pivoting the knife and taking the top off. Please be very careful with this. So pop the top off of that, and make sure to get all of the seeds out of that poblano pepper. Once you've taken all of the seeds out, you can continue to do this to the rest of the peppers. Then for your queso fresco, try to make little squares, little rectangles out of your cheese. This will help to stuff the pepper. You can crumble it and make it into smaller pieces to have an evenly stuffed chile. So as you saw, I did have a rip with one of my poblanos. Not a big deal, just continue to stuff it like you would the rest of them. And we're gonna fix it with our meringue. Now, very important, please preheat your oven to 350 degrees and set your timer. It should be about 15 minutes or 20 minutes to get that preheated. As you do that, also preheat your cast iron skillet with some oil. Now we're going to go into the meringue part of this recipe. It is very important to only start with the egg whites. Anytime you incorporate a yolk, this will make the meringue heavier, and it'll be harder to create that chile relleno fluffy egg batter. So Start with your egg whites. This is just a personal tip. If you have a KitchenAid, a stand mixer, a hand mixer, we're adding a little salt to that, please go ahead and use that. It really helps. So I have about 5 or 6 egg whites in that, some salt, and I'm just going to continue to whisk this until we have really stiff peaks. My grandmother used to do this with a fork. I'm amazed by it, but really, if you've got something that makes life easier, I highly recommend it. So if it looks something like this with those stiff peaks, you're at a really great place. Now I'm going to add in that 1 yolk per 5 or 6 egg whites. As soon as I do this, I know I am ready to build the chiles with this. Again, that yolk will make this heavier, so we want to kind of work with the time we have and get right into frying these chiles. So I'll have that tomatillo crema salsa in a little pot off to the side at a low heat, and that'll just start cooking off for me, give me really great flavors. A little bit of water to check that my oil is hot enough, a plate to the side there with some flour, and I'm going to start my rolling process. Roll this chile slowly and making sure to cover every single angle if you can, and then dusting off any excess flour. Now I'm going to go in with half of the chile in the meringue. Scoop that up a really good amount if you can, and you're going to lay that facing down just like that. Immediately I'm going to add in more meringue to cover it up. I don't want to wait too long for this because it'll really help for it to have an even consistency. Very important, if you can ladle some of that hot oil over it, this will help to cook it on the sides and edges. And you'll be able to see that your meringue almost kind of expands a little bit as it cooks. It's really, really fun to do. Just please be careful not to burn yourself as it is very, very hot. Now once you've ladled it a few times, you can kind of sneak peek the bottom to see if it's browned. It should be a few minutes worth, maybe 2 or 3. And if you do that consistently, you're going to be ready to flip in just a few seconds. As you can tell, I have a tray to the side with a drying rack. Very important, so that the oil doesn't kind of sit in its own juices there. So the chile was brown, nice and brown, and I flipped it. Again, waited a few more minutes to do the same to the other side. Give it a few seconds to drip the oil off, and you can set it off in the tray. Again, I don't want these chiles sitting in their own oil. I want to have a drying rack before putting it in the oven. So again, from this angle, I'm rolling my chile, adding all that flour, but then dusting off any excess flour. Now I'm holding and pinching from the top of the chile where the cheese is coming out of when I'm going to add in the meringue. That's very important to do so the cheese doesn't fall out. Adding the meringue, and then just laying it there flat. You might have to finagle it a little bit, but it'll be worth it. Immediately again covering it over with the egg batter. Trying to cover every edge and then closing that opening where the cheese is as much as possible. You're in control of this chile, you're in charge, so kind of give it a little bit of that oil, move it around if you need to. Show it who's boss. It really helps if you can do this confidently, and it really helps to not be overtaken by fear about the chile. So it's beautifully golden brown. It is ready for the oven that's been at 350. And I'm going to place that in there for about 10 minutes. This will help the cheese to melt, and it'll make for a beautiful chile relleno. When that's all done and ready, top that with your crema salsa de tomatillo, some fresh pomegranate seeds. If they're refrigerated, it adds a little bit of that crunch. You can add that on top. And I hope you guys enjoy. I know it's a little bit different, but give it a try and let us know what you thought. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this recipe, that it maybe broke down some of the steps for you so that it seems a little bit easier, less intimidating to make at home. Again, with those pomegranates, I know it sounds crazy, I know it sounds wild, but try it if you can. It is pomegranate season, so drizzling just a few of those fresh pomegranates gives such a little pop of flavor here and there, and I hope that you really enjoy it. So thank you so much for that. Ingredients are down below. as always, we just want to say a big mahalo to everybody that's supporting. Every time we see a little like button, we get tickled. We're so excited that you guys really like this stuff. And anytime we see someone subscribe, it's showing us the support to keep on going and hopefully keep sharing more of these recipes to you guys. So thank you so much for that. A big shout out to our family. Sabrina and I would like to say thank you guys. This recipe is for you guys and all of the encouragement and the love and the support this whole time. So we hope that you enjoy it. We want to say big mahalo and we will see you on the next video. Aloha! This commercial has been brought to you and sponsored by coffee, the thing that fuels Nadia. That and tequila. Just kidding, JK.